10 seconds.
Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Get ready to explore the world of comics, past, present, and future, with our panelists S Hawkins, Brian Rodman, and Clyde Hall. And now here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
And good evening, everyone. How the heck are you? Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum for Thursday, December 9th, 2021. We hope you're having a great week so far. I hope you're ready to have some fun for the next hour or two as we talk funny books and other things. But anyway, as always, we are honored. Yes, honored. I use that word because this episode is sponsored by Jeffrey Hayes and Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. What sells a book better than its cover? You can judge a book by its cover, especially when you go to plasmafiregraphics.com. They work for many independent publishers of new pulp and crime and other genres. And Jeffrey Hayes can do it all. He also does graphics that'll help you sell your work on social media, as well as beautiful book trailers like the one you just saw. So if you want to hire somebody that is very, very affordable, very, very independent creator rates, then go to their Facebook page, check out some more work by Plasma Fire Graphics, then go to plasmafiregraphics.com, and you can contact Jeffrey Hayes directly there and ask for his rate card. So get on board the train and hire Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. And we also want to thank the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We're a group of like-minded broadcasters trying to build our networks together, cooperating and helping and bouncing off of each other. And later tonight, next after us, will be Stupid O'Clock with Joe Dog McKeel and the crew. Always fun geek talk, very intelligent, very funny, and followed by Dan Holofield's Last Man Standing. Dan has gone on to days again at the factory, and now he's going to be doing some more broadcasting for us, and I couldn't be happier. And then tomorrow morning we'll have Never Mind the Furthermore, followed by Drinking with the Davies at 7 p.m. and with Ted and Chrissy Davies, and following that will be the Historical Fencing Guild with Nicholas Anthony Tucker teaching you all about bladed weaponry, and enjoy his humor and all kinds of fun things there. So check out the Facebook page for the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and please give it a like if you would. Also, please also check out our Patreon page. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators with a modest financial stipend, and you also get something for it. So if you want to see what we give you aside from putting your name on this card, go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and find out more details. And we want to thank everyone for being here. If you're watching us live, we appreciate your being here and your participation. We're ready for your questions, I think. And also, if you're watching us on the reruns, please put a comment below, especially if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll try to answer your question and let you be a post-active part of what we got going on. But what we got going on right now is we've got the show, and Brian Rodman cannot make it here tonight due to family issues. But we do have somebody of equal importance. That's Joe D Mcphee joining us on the verge of C2E2 in Chicago, and I know he's going to tell us more about that later. Oh my God, yes, look at him dangle that carrot in front of the mule that is me. Also, pro player, the Eric S. Hawkins is here tonight. ready to slay somebody later on tonight, I'm thinking. And then Clyde Hall of Stormgate Press and other places. Glad to have you here. And I'm Brian K. Morris of Rising Tide Publications, because Cookie said I could be here. So anyway, we're glad to have everyone here, and we welcome everyone's comments. And so let's go around the room and introduce ourselves, starting with the one, the only Mr. Joe D Mcphee. Joe, take it away.
Hello, everybody. I am Joe D Mcphee. I'm president of Agency Studios. If you notice, I don't have my normal setup as of today because I'm set up for C2E2, which starts tomorrow. So you can catch me there from Friday to Sunday at McCormick Place. If you're here in Chicago, be there. It's going to be worthwhile to come there, partake of the merriment, buy some of our books, and enjoy everything and enjoy life for a change.
Very cool. That's a good motivation. They're enjoying life. I'll have to try it sometime. Anyway, thanks, Joe, for being here. And Eric S. Hawkins, tell everybody who you are.
Hey, I'm an independent comic creator, the creator of the Zombiful World of Oz. I collect toys and comics and junk, and you can find me on any social media site. Just look me up.
Very good indeed. And we also have the gold standard, Mr. Clyde Hall, holding a festive drink in a very festive glass there. Tell us about this. And yourself.
It's tea. It's just tea. Yeah, really. I'm Clyde Hall, independent author, fan fiction writer, award-winning audio drama scripter, cosplayer, comic book reviewer, lifelong comics fan, movie buff, monster kid, trekker, 40 and encrypted hobbyist, vintage toy collector and restorer, longtime tabletop RPG player, and game master, and in short, because I'm not designed for being in tall, I'm an elder statesman of geekery. I created a new pulp character called B-Man for the launch of Stormgate Press's award-winning anthology series, Pulp Reality number 1. And now, Pulp Reality number 2 and Pulp Reality number 3 are all available, each with their own B-Man tale, among many fine new pulp stories. You can find all the Pulp Reality books at www.stormgatepress.com or on Amazon. Every Thursday night, though, you can find me here with my fellow comic book reviewers and cohorts looking for the best comic book entertainment suggestions, just like Ralphie looking for his official Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle with a compass in the stock and a thing that tells time under the tree.
Wow. A lot of expectations there. Thank you very much, Clyde Hall.
And I'm Brian. And you will shoot your eye out, kid.
That's right. And I have this urge to go outside and lick a flagpole, if you know what I mean. And chances are I will. Stay tuned, folks. Anyway, I'm Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance author, and editor, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, former mortician's assistant, and glad to be here, too, because this is a highlight of my Thursday, and we hope it's one of yours as well. And we also have people in the I don't want to call it the peanut gallery. I don't know if any of them are peanut allergic. Oh, there we go.
You got my hat. You got my glass. What the hell?
Pro Slayer Hawkins, the Clyde Hall experience. Not the real thing, but an uncanny simulation.
It's why I often think Clyde's on this other wall. I'm just on the other side.
Count the glasses when you go back in the kitchen.
Yeah. And the silverware. But we've got some great people in our waiting room here, and one of them is Donna Carleen. Ooh, sounds delish. Hi, Clyde.
Hi.
And Lissy says, whoa, woo, I'm early for once. Good for you. We're glad to see you here. And we're glad to see Carl Witzman. Hello to you, my friend. And hi, Donna. How you doing? And Lissy says, hi. Granddaughter 1 only said hi to her papa. Sorry, everyone else.
Hi, Nora.
Hi, Dora. Anyway.
Not
Nora.
Nora.
I heard Dora. Okay, hold on a second here. I know.
Fix your hearing aid.
Wow.
I'm reminded suddenly of that old episode of Faulty Towers with the lady that had hearing aids but didn't want to turn them on because she didn't want to run down the battery. That's me. Anyway, glad everyone's here. And Rick Bradley, 2 nights in a row with Mr. BKM. What lottery did I win? I know, it's just like Christmas morning, I'm telling you. And that's okay. Let's see, it's all good. No problems. I agree. And we can see Joe's whole room now.
just about.
Yeah.
I'm covering up some of it, but no, you could see, the closet and stuff in the back and stuff to that magnitude. Normally, like I said, I have my normal setup where it's all blocked off.
Mm-hmm.
There's a giant penny back. Is that the Joe Cave? There's a giant penny in the back.
That's
No,
it. Batman. Way to go, Clyde.
That's not a penny. That's a clock.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
cool. That's nice. Yeah.
No, cool.
That's sweet, Joe. Yeah, seriously. And also, what Superman issue is Brian reviewing tonight? Only 2. Anyway, and drinking early for Clyde. Yeah. Well, hanging around with me does tend to make you drive one to drink. So anyway, we're glad everyone's here, and we welcome your comments as the evening goes along. And hope that you're getting ready for a big weekend. Oh, and for everyone, for the 4 or 5 people who will not be going to C2E2 just to see Joe D Mcphee, I promise.
And a host of others.
Well, there might be other people there. Maybe. I don't know.
Again, you're going to miss out on your favorite person because she's supposed to be there.
I know she is. Kara Nicole will be there. Mm-hmm. But, unless I can connive my wife into letting me go up and I can mug somebody for a ticket or something, which I'm prepared to do for Kara. But anyway, I will be on Saturday. I will be at Writer's Block from 11 to 5 at the Franklin Park Mall at 5001 Monroe Street in Toledo, Ohio. And I will be joined not only by Jim Beard of Flinch Books and former writer for Marvel.com. I will be joined by Cookie. So anyway, what more do you all need? Anyway, Sarah just walked in. Mwah, darling, glad to see you here. And we wanted to, but I don't think we can make it. Well, Carl, we'll have to get an expedition going one year. Just the whole group of us go to C2E2 and get in before they realize what's going on and they put up the barricades. But anyway, as usual, we've got stuff to review, and I know Rick is just chomping at the. Okay, this is my show now, and I've got a whole bunch of things to review.
I've got Superman. I've got Superman's Sons. I've got Superman Batman. I've got Last Son of Krypton.
Not everything is Superman.
Yeah, but it's Superman on the cover of that one.
No, it's not.
But it's still DC regardless.
Oh, quit splitting hairs here. Anyway. So anyway, we'll start the reviews and then we'll start conversation, and we welcome your comments as we read. And we're going to start as usual with the one, the only Joe D Mcphee. Joe, what have you got that you think everybody ought to be reading this week?
Well, here's the thing. We got to end another series on this particular episode of Comic Book Spectrum. Now, if you've been keeping up, you know that I read things in series more so than just sporadic issues. And if you caught the review from last weekend, you know what was on the docket here, which was issue number 5. So I decided to cover issue number 6 here, since because of what happened with Mr. Rodman. So tonight we're going to do issue 6 of Mr. Miracle's Source of Freedom. This is the last issue of this 6-issue series. Now, if you haven't caught up to where we're at right now, I suggest that you go back and watch either Comic Book Spectrum or my show from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on YouTube to catch up what happened in the first 5 issues. Again, I have to ask, what's taking you so long for watching us? Should be watching us every week. That way we don't have to have that reminder. But coming back to issue number 6 here. Issue number 6 is the last episode. And if you watch the last episode from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, we finally got the origin of Never Free. Or at least a partial origin. And we came to the conclusion that Never Free is really not as evil as we think. However, misguided, yes, but not evil. But the thing about it is that everything is supposed to come to an end right here, right now. And the issue pretty much it's kind of lackluster, but yet it was a decent ending. It was more cliche than anything, but let me get into the actual story here. By the way, this is the alternate cover because I don't have the original, the regular version of number 6. This was the alternate cover by Valentin D Landro.
That's
I
nice.
thought this one was looked a little bit better than the original cover here.
For Steve Rude.
Yep. So, if you remember where we left off, it's like Never Free finally tracked Shiloh, Oberon, and Orion back to one of Never Free's colonies. Now, if you paid attention to issue number 5, Never Free pretty much took over most of an empire in the name of Scott and Barda for their memory, because she still believes that they're dead. Nobody's have been recovered or anything, but she believes that they're still dead. So she's up here thinking that because Shiloh holds the mantle of miracle that he did something to them, and one thing led to another. All of that got exposed in issue number 5. So it picks up at the end of issue 5 where they're about to get ready to really come to like their final conflict here. So pretty much Shiloh decides not to run anymore and want to take a run heads on. So as they fight, pretty much one of her colonies is getting destroyed in that fight and whatnot. She ordered in what is called the World Breakers. And what the World Breaker is pretty much destroys planets. So in a last-ditch effort to save the colony that they're on, to keep the planet that they're on, to allow them to survive the World Breakers, he kind of decides to go to like an outskirt of one area and pretty much says, this is where I'm going to make my last stand where nobody can get hurt. And if you notice, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We did good. We did good this time around. We got 6 pages in before we got our first ad about Justice League Incarnate. And then here's the other thing here. You know, he's about to make his final stand and everything, and then he decides to unmask himself. That way, she knows who she Never Free knows who she really is fighting here. And then what happens? We got an ad for Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the terms of the final battle is he turns off his suit, no mother box, no nothing, as long as she does the exact same thing. She agrees, and the battle pursues here. And as they're fighting, Oberon is really trying to divert all the World Breakers away from the fight and whatnot. And then it focused back on the actual fight. And Shiloh is pretty much trying to get down to the root of everything here. And this is where I found that the ending is very cliche. Never Free is pretty much pummeling Shiloh, but Shiloh kept asking the one question: who are you really? Never. I know who I am. I am the grandson of Thaddeus, the first miracle. Even though things in my grandfather's legacy was great, there's also mistakes that were made. And you don't do any great honoring of their legacy by doing things so messed up to innocent people where it gets muddied. And he keeps at her talking in those terms of who are you really? And she finally breaks down and says she doesn't know. Because remember, her whole life, she patterned everything off of her mother and father, which was Scott and Barda. She never once been just Never. again, I still find that as cliche and everything. And then at that point, he's like, well, since you don't know, then stop the conflict. That way, that way you could spare the legacy, because this is about to be a major blot if you continue on and whatnot. That sent Neverfree back into a rage. She pulls a knife and about to get ready to do the killing blow. And what happens? Another Batman ad.
Batman interrupts and saves the day.
Yeah, that's where they're like, oh, he's about to get got. Oh, Batman ad.
The one iteration of Batman that I am genuinely sick of seeing.
Mm-hmm. And then in the story, out of nowhere, Shiloh gets saved by guess who?
Oh man,
his parents. It just so happens that his parents actually occupies that planet that they're living on. So all these years, that's where his mother and father resides at, was on this one planet. And never just completely lose it once he mentioned that was his mother and father. Again, the whole psyche and the cold cliche things about having nothing. Nobody has left anything for me or anything to that magnitude. The only thing I have left is the memories, the great memories of my mother and father. And she just, kind of go off the side. And then for a change of pace, we get off of Batman and go to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman ad.
Was that only one page later they had another ad?
Yes. I'm about to show you. That. They did that. That's the third time that they did that. Remember, you got the 6 pages here. We got Justice League. We go one more page and get the Batman ad. Then later on in the story, we come back down. We got another single page right into the Wonder Woman ad. So that's twice. So one page, break in the story. So in a last ditch effort, as a person crying, as a child crying out because of what is going on to him, she tries to merge with the World Breaker engine before she could deal the final blow to everybody. Shiloh puts back on the suit and literally stops her in the engine, inside the engine, and saves her life at the very end. And she's up here. It's like, why did you save me? It's like, and he was like, it's the right thing to do. That does not honor your parents one way or the other about what you did. However, you're not completely evil. It's more along the line, you're misguided and you should have an opportunity to fix everything. There's still hope for you. So with that being stated here, we go to a double page ad after that happens, dealing with the other history of the DC universe, as if we need another alternate universe here. And then the people of that planet started to come after Never, and then lo and behold, somehow, some form or some fashion, a boom tube opens up and whisks her away. And then Oberon is like, you know what? Our work is done here. Let's go back home. So before Shiloh could say goodbye to his parents real good, he gives them a great hug. And we get a Batman and Robin ad. One page. As he was saying his final goodbyes, he gets yanked away by Oberon, and they're back in California at Oberon's house, which gets destroyed because of the boom tube and everything. And it ends with here again, another page, and we get the Dark Knights of Steel advertisement. So again, that's 3 times that happened in this book. So afterwards, he grabs the picture of his grandfather and everything and whisk off. He contacts his agent to set up, a big news conference and everything. he ends up calling the firefighter that went on a date with him, kind of explained everything, and that seems to be like they're going to end up being kind of like a couple at that point. And then the following morning on Good Morning Metropolis, he finally reveals himself as Mr. Miracle. And it gets followed up by
and it surprised the Joker. He's like, what?
I thought it was scot-free.
Exactly. That's what I was screaming. And then it ends up with like a spotlight on Justice League Incarnate. And it ends there with another ad for Blade Runner, which is on Toonami. And
where's Batman
on
in there?
DVD? The Suicide Squad is at the very back cover.
Where's Batman on the inside back cover? I didn't see Batman.
No, it was Suicide Squad.
No, on the inside back cover.
What ads that was Batman books?
The inside cover, we actually got a good show. On the inside cover, we actually got the Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
That's right. With Missy.
Yes.
For all you Doctor Who fans.
So overall, the series started off bad, gave you a lot of history, and ended kind of lackluster and cliche. If I have to give all 6 issues a grade, it would be somewhere about like a 6 to like a 7. It was okay. Nothing new and groundbreaking other than the fact that revealing who Thaddeus truly was, and the fact that Thaddeus was Shiloh's grandfather. I thought that was a nice touch here. As far as the story of Never Free, it could have ended a lot better, because I still feel that she doesn't understand the nature of who Scott and Barter actually represents. Because if you read issue number 5, most of her life has been, lived vicariously through her mother and father and their adventures, because she never went on adventures with them as growing up, or when she came of age to actually be able to fight. She never did. So she did what she thought was best. And that was the critical downfall for her. As far as the overall grade for this issue, outside the ads, I would still have to give this probably like a 7 out of 10. Only because of the simple fact that I wanted more out of this ending, other than who are you? Who are you doing the whole deep retrospective? Who are you really? It's like nothing you doing here really shows me who Never really is. You're doing this mainly because you're trying to carry a mantle that is not yours. But it is what it is. 7 out of 10. The overall series, like I said, probably be between a 6 and a 7. Would I recommend the series? Pretty. So depending on how much of a fan you are with Mr. Miracle, it seems like a lot of the Shiloh stories, it's like hit or miss. But at least this one actually hit the right buttons for nostalgia purposes. That way you could probably enjoy it a little bit more than I would. But overall, that's pretty much the review for Mr. Miracle, The Source of Freedom. I'm not certain if they're going to bring back Shiloh again, or if we're going to have more Scott free, considering the fact that Scott is technically supposed to be dead. But according to issue number 5, he's probably not. We don't know where they're at. We don't know where him and Barter are at right now.
Well, it's comic books anyway, so where heaven has a revolving door.
Exactly.
Thank you, Clay. Now, I do have one quick question, though. You mentioned that for veteran readers, it might be filled with enough Easter eggs to make it interesting for them, perhaps. But what about someone who's never seen an issue of Mr. Miracle before? Do you think somebody could go in and enjoy this on its own merits?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Not exactly. It's good for those to get to know who Shiloh is. But as far as all the other history that was covered, and then the way that Brandon Easton brought up some of the social political stuff in the very beginning would throw a lot of people off.
Okay.
Because a lot of that stuff really didn't play a major factor in the story. It only came back to its head at the very end, where he actually showed who he was.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Thank you, Joe.
You're very welcome.
Yes.
Yep.
Bravo.
Yep.
Hey, we've got some comments here, and apparently I've shocked Donna Carleen that I'm going to be reading something other than a Superman book. Yes, I really did say that, Donna, and who knows what else I could say before the end of the evening, so you never know. Although I promise nothing in my pile will get launched tonight. It's not that bad. Anyway, Jennifer Hawkins, good taste in Christmas dishes, Clyde. And Sarah says, how many ads are Joe D Mcphee going to find? And apparently all of them. And she knew that was coming. And she's got to run. The bratwursts are ready. Carl Witzman asked, bratwurst, is that young person code? And anyway, I'm stopping before Carl comes in here and takes over the show. And Leslie says, holy ass, Batman! And Carl Witzman says, reminds me of the recent run of Doctor Who. Promised a lot, then leave the fans with their palm in their faces. Yeah, I could see that. I haven't seen the latest Doctor Who season, but the last couple of years have been like blowing various fans' minds and possibly not in life-affirming ways. So anyway, keep those comments coming. We love them, and thank you again, Joe D Mcphee.
Not a problem.
All right, and next is the one, the only, the Pro Slayer himself, Eric S. Hawkins. What have you got for us to read tonight?
Well, I picked up a few books this week. This one was mostly for reference. I wanted to see how someone else does steampunk, and I picked up this a few times at Free Comic Book Day. There's usually always an issue, but now this is the first issue out by Image. It's a Lady Mechanica. It looks great, and I love the striped pants. A lot of steampunk stuff has, which I'm starting to incorporate into mine. But I actually, this is not the book I'm going to review. I just want to show a few things off in this one. This one's actually a Marvel book.
I've heard of them.
It's Devil's Reign #1.
Yes.
And as Brian just asked Joe, could someone just jump in and start reading this and know what's going on? Kind of. Not. I don't know. You'd be probably confused why there's two Spider-Man. Actually, I'm not even sure if Spider-Man's Peter Parker, Ben Reilly at this point in this book. I don't know. But I liked what I read so far of it. And Kingpin is mayor of New York, which I thought was cool. And of course, Moon Knight's in here too. But I want to look at the ads real quick. So this one's actually for a music group. I was surprised.
Wow.
Then we got a Boba Fett word search.
Be sure to fill in all the squares, kids.
We have M&M's, a whole page for titles inside the book. Then Geico. There's actually stuff in here other than Marvel, but then I think the rest are all Marvel. Yeah, Silver Surfer, and I think Silk's in here, and She-Hulk #1, which She-Hulk looks pretty cool. And the rest of them are all Marvel books. But what I am going to review is Daisy. Oh, that's all white. Daisy #1
Yep.
by Dark Horse by Colin, not Bunn, Colin Lorimer, something, with kind of hard to read off the screen there. Joanna Levente and Anita Vu with Jim Campbell. That's an easy one.
That's Colin Bunn's pen name.
I picture I was like,
he's Joanne Campbell on weekends.
No, not a Colin Bunn book. But I didn't know anything about this when I picked it up. I just thought it's a #1 Daisy. The cover looks pretty cool, and the interior art's very nice. There's even, I'm going to skip to this one before I tell you guys anything about it. And it is. It's, well, that's weird.
What?
Is it the center? I would have thought they would have put this in the center because it's a double page spread and it's a center fold.
Eh,
Oh, but this is Daisy. Daisy is a daughter. That's a teenage young lady who's a daughter of an angel, who is one of the original Watchers, who mated with the women back in biblical time to create the giants. That's basically what this story is about. It starts off with Daisy, and you don't know how big she is at the beginning here. I mean, she looks like she needs a hearing aid. She's got some leg braces and stuff, and you're not even sure who this is. It looks like an old man at the beginning. Then she wanders out, and she's giving these kids a Bible class. But what she's teaching them is about the Watchers, or Grigori. But Grigori's never mentioned in here, which kind of surprised me because a lot of people use the term Grigori instead of just saying the Watchers. But it tells the story of the Watchers, how they fell in love with human women and came down from heaven to mate with them to create giants, and how God wasn't pleased with that. Then the giants started eating everything. So this particular Watcher had to start killing the giants, which many of them were his children. So it's just one left, and it's his son, and his son's going to eat him. But in the meantime, there's a young lady who's had a son that's been missing for about 5 years, and she gets a mysterious call and believes he might be in this particular place because someone called using a landline. Like, people have landlines. I was surprised. So they were able to trace it, and apparently they're going out to the house to see the Daisy, the giant. And the officer warns her that this guy's daughter is a little unusual, so don't freak out when you see her. And that's when you have the big centerfold when she meets Daisy. But she doesn't last too long, and you don't find out why, right? You won't find out in this issue at all, but yeah, she gets shot. She asks a few too many questions of Daisy, and the cop shoots her.
Oh.
So then Daisy goes and continues her Bible study with the kids. and then her dad comes home. He owns a hardware store in town. He comes home. He was out of town business. He finishes up telling the story to the children of the Watchers and the giant, the last giant that had to be killed, which he was kind of deformed. And that how fellow Watchers came down and helped this particular Watcher kill that giant. But they all knew they could never go back to heaven. They all knew they'd be cursed, but they knew they want to get their revenge. So apparently they've been biding their time. And you find out that her father, Daisy's father, is the same angel that was the killing all the giants who were his children before. And that's where it ends off. Unfortunately, you don't see any angel wings. I was kind of disappointed in that, because I want to see some flappy angel wings. But the story's really cool. The art's really good. It progresses very nicely. A good place to jump on a story, because it's issue number 1. It's about something that it's always fascinated me, is the hierarchy of angels, and especially the Watchers, the Grigori, and the giants. And I'm looking forward to see how this one progresses into, the image you get on the cover here, which is Daisy looking all angelic, and over here you can see she's like getting a mug shot, actually, because it goes up to 7 feet, then can't go as high as she actually is. But I liked it a lot. I'm going to get a 7 out of 10 because I want to learn more about what's going on. Because it's a topic that's always interested me, and I would like to write a biblical story like that at one point too. That's it.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you very much, Eric.
You're welcome.
Well done. Well done. And we've got some more comments here. Teresa Dunn, good evening to you. And Lizzie says Nephilims. Nephilims. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Nephilim, that is correct. Yeah.
Yes, and Teresa is greeted by Donna, Carly, Carlene, and maybe they had to cut off their wings. Ventures Donna.
That could be. That's what Ben Affleck and Matt Damon had to do in Dogma.
That's true.
To get back into heaven.
And look what happened then. They got a hug from Alanis. One of them got a hug from Alanis Morissette. I'd say it's worth it. And what a weird little tale, says Carl. And Donna, that would be an interesting development. And Brittany Hall Koenigstein is hopping on. Hello, good to see you, Mom. Glad to have you here as always. And there we go. And thank you again, Eric. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, now I will.
There was only one ad, and it was in the very back.
Okay, what's it for Batman though?
Yes.
Excellent.
Wow,
No, it was for another Dark Horse book.
Okay. Well, I could review at least two books here that probably at least two books that won't have Batman ads. So, as Clyde Hall's warm-up act, I'll take the mic next. Anyway, first of all, I got this at my local comic shop. I couldn't resist, and this is another Dark Knight book. Oh crap! Anyway. So anyway, in seeking refuge from Batman titles, I picked up the latest issue of Mad Magazine. I knew you may want this, Joe. Yeah, and
is that the Batman that glitters?
Yes, this is. And he's got Alfred E. Newman between his legs. Nothing suggestive about that. And of course, and it's kind of interesting because in going over they list on the contents page where each reprint feature, as everyone knows, Mad has been a reprint book for about 3 years now. Every reprint issue came from. The latest one is from 2019, which I think is weird. But there are a few pages of original material in here this month, but it's. And not all of it is Batman, but again, they had a Batman special just a few months ago, and now they're reprinting Batsman again from 1966. Now, the thing is, it's a brilliant story, so I don't care. That's fine with me. But most of this is not, it is not Batman related. There is very little of it, in fact. This is one of the original pages, Oh, Batman, My Batman, with art by Tom Richmond, who did that Superman book I reviewed a couple weeks ago. John Caldwell and Pete Wood did this one that is loosely based on the animated series. And Pete Wood has done some, work for the mainstream DC. And of course, there's a fold out, which of course doesn't have Batman, it has Bruce Wayne on it. Anyway, just for variety's sake. But anyway, no, good stuff. I love Mad. I still give it an 8.5 out of 10 because it always makes me smile. Then we go to in ascending order of quality. Justice League Infinity. Decent story. I'm hoping DC gets away from so many alternate world stuff, though. I'm starting to burn out on that a little bit, but this is very well done. The art is really nice as it accommodates different styles of alternate versions of characters, different dimensions and all. And this one, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because I did
Is that
enjoy
Batman in the bottom corner there?
Very observant, Eric. That's the character you rarely see at all. But that is a very old version. And of course, they have like a Nazi version of Superman, a couple versions of Amazo, a couple of versions of the Martian Manhunter. And if it's got Martian Manhunter, you can't go wrong. Now, in going over the ads, of course, DC property, then about 5 or 6, and then Swamp Thing. Not Batman. Not Swamp Thing. Not Swamp Thing either.
Good grief.
Adam Strange.
Yay.
Yeah, now we're talking. And not Batman. House of L, that first one was okay. I can't say it was one of my favorites. Then we're making up for the lack of Batman. And then we got a spate of pages. And this might be pretty good. One Star Squadron by Mark Russell and Steve Lieber. Justice League Incarnate, and And oh boy. And here we go. Not Batman. And not Batman either. But very much Batman. So yeah, they know which side their bread is buttered on. Then I'm gonna go up the. I should review this afterwards, but the second issue of My Bad came out. Funny book. Now I've been railing about comics where the cover doesn't have anything to do with the interior. This is one of them, but it's a nice joke. It's funny, and you get the artwork, a virgin cover on the back. It's great stuff from Peter Krause and Mark Russell, and it has more on the chandelier and why he was sent a salad shooter in the first issue. Okay, of course I know you've all been waiting for that. This was an absolute joy because they've set up the Billy D. Williams version of Harvey Dent. Now he is Two-Face. And we've got the new Robin coming in, who is not Dick Grayson. Hilarious dialogue. You can hear Michael Keaton in this book. He has the voice in here. And anyway, I'm gonna call 9.5 out of 10. A definite 10. This is good.
But are there good Batman ads in the Batman book?
I would be darned surprised if there were not. Actually, it's the same as the other one, except I maybe I skipped it in the other one. But there is also an ad for World of Krypton #1.
Oh,
okay, which is a great segue to this. Isn't that a beautiful cover?
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful cover. I think we'll all agree on that. By Miko Suryan and Annette Kwok. Beautiful, beautiful cover. But then we get to the interior. I'm not a huge Michael Avon Oeming fan. Although I did I grew up loving the Kryptonian thought beasts. Because their next intention was always on these giant screens on their heads. It's so Jerry Siegel. And then we get to the interior where in this one, it's kind of like, whereas like in Justice League Infinity, you had like Joe's comic, about 6 or 7 pages of art and story. Then you had a group of ads. Then the center had another block of solid art and story, and then it's alternating pages of ads. In this one, it's like a splash page. The coloring is beautiful. The coloring is actually gorgeous from Nick Filardi, and Robert Venditti is writing this, who's done some great Green Lantern and Superman. He's the reason I got this mostly. It starts with a good beginning in that the thought beasts of Krypton have died far from their native habitat. Now, then we get to seeing Jor-El and Lara, and I'm going to get a double page spread here, and it's pretty good. It sets up the political and familial intrigue in this, but I think where the book falls down in a lot of this is the way he draws people. I guess I'm trained to want like more of a Steve Rude, Kurt Swan, Jack Kirby look, smoother look to this. But and then there's something that I don't know if it's the colorist or Oeming did himself, and I apologize if I'm missing out. I'm going to try to show you so you can see that. It's not really coming across, but if you look at, and that's Zod with the yellow, or rather the red around his neck, the one in the first panel there. And Jor-El is on the left with his brother Zor-El, and this is celebrating the birth of his daughter Kara Zor-El. Well, anyway, there is kind of a zipatone effect across a lot of the panel. You can't really see it on Jor-El, but you can see it on the collar of the blonde guy in the middle, and on General Zod's tunic there. And this recurs through the thing, and it's it's kind of it just kind of pulls me out of the art. I don't mind when it's used as a design element, like such as, and again, this is going to be hard to see on the screen, but you can see it, especially where the glasses are clinking. You see the pseudo zipatone pattern there. And there's an assassination attempt, and it's really, the layouts are very strong, but the rendering I'm just not a fan of. Sorry to say, and it's a good story. It really is. Kudos to Vendetti. I'm just not really keen on the art, and that's a personal thing with me. You may like it, and that's cool. But the cover is so different from the interior art that I'm going to knock a little off. The story, I give a 9 out of 10. The art, I give like a 7 out of 10. And I'm going to make it like a 7.5 simply because this is a beautiful pinup. But it is so not representative of the art inside.
Oh,
so
the cover art doesn't look that much different.
Eric, can I pet your seeing eye dog? You fed that thing today. But for me, of course, and I know you've all been on pins and needles, what's Brian's favorite book this week? I'm so glad you asked. We have Lex Luthor making his initial encounter of John Kent, now the Superman. And there is a lot of great stuff in here. It's very character-driven, very human moments, very fun. Another great story by Tom Taylor starts out with Superman, Clark Kent version, getting attacked. Oh, and you know what those green rays are, don't you? Of course you do. And it turns out it's a plot by Lex Luthor and Metallo to kill Superman, which, of course, you can tell by page 3, didn't quite take. And, in fact, it's a sting put on by the Justice League. And, of course, they leave Lex humiliated, not to mention in jail. And then we take up with Superman talking philosophy with Lex in his jail cell. Making a good point when they're playing a chess game, Superman walks away and says, "I'm not playing your game, Lex. I can move in a way you can't. I can move outside the cell." And then Steve Pugh and Clayton Henry did the art on this. Tom Taylor, of course, did the script. And then we see Lois. And this obviously takes place after the current events in Action Comics because Superman has left the planet. And then, of course, hey, Joe! And Joe is like, you guys get off my back. Anyway, but it's a very fun moment because Batman knocked on the door. And John is like, Batman knocks? I thought you just appear in our kitchen or something. And Lois is smiling, going, he did that once. and Batman is like, and I won't do it again. And Lois says, no valuable lessons about personal privacy and boundaries were taught that day. So there is one person the Dark Knight fears. And it's apparently Lois Lane. And you also find out, much to Batman's, he actually gets a little smile there. Because we find out that, of course, they've got Earl Grey tea, his favorite, at the Kent household. It's delivered every month by Alfred to every house that he thinks Batman might visit. So anyway, Clark receives a message from his father that was entrusted to Batman. And, of course, there's only one place he's going to be able to open this envelope. And so it moves to the Arctic Fortress of Solitude, where instead of Jor-El, look who the AI is now.
Tom Welling?
Tom Welling, you got it, buddy, because he wasn't going to be in a costume no damn way. So then we go into some intrigue where Lex Luthor is trying to rebuild his criminal fortune with what he will call Schrodinger's box. Is it a death trap or is it not? And the result is, of course, LexCorp is now the tallest building again in Metropolis, and the shadow is cast across the Daily Planet. Well, on advice from Parental Unit AI, John Kent is going to handle Lex differently. And it's a very satisfying, very character-driven story. Like I said, great twist at the end. And we have the return of a character from the heyday of the Superman books in the 90s. Mercy Graves is back. I always loved her. And this, like I said, has humor. It's a done-in-one story. It's a great twist on the meeting Lex Luthor trope that even I'm getting tired of. And of course, I've been around long enough, it's no longer a novelty to me. But anyway, the cover has nothing to do with the inside, but it's a really fun cover. And there's just so much about this to love. It is definitely worth the $5.99 that it costs. Great cover by John Timms, the regular artist on Superman, Son of Kal-El. This is a 10 out of 10. This knocks it out of the park. Very entertaining. You don't have to like Superman to like this. Not enough Batman ads for my taste. Well, here's the nice thing though: there's extra pages, so proportionally, you'll think you're getting a better bargain and fewer ads if you read something like this than if you read a standard DC comic, because it'll seem like it's like 1/3 ads, which of course it is. Whereas the percentage goes down if you put in more story pages. So definitely 10 out of 10 on that Superman there, and worth your money and your time. So that's my review this week. Yes,
I've got a question.
Yes, Eric. Everybody's got questions. Thank you, Clyde. Thank you, Joe.
Batman shows up at the house.
Yes.
And Lois and Jonathan Kent are there. Had Jonathan just done something, saved the world or something, or does he just hang out in his outfit all the time at home?
I guess those are his onesies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like,
I thought he might be, he's at home. He might be in his regular clothes or something, but I guess not.
You would think so, but then again, it's a good shorthand for new readers to figure out who this is. As if you couldn't tell. If you're really bad at reading comics. Actually, yes, he. It does explain that he had been out looking for his father throughout the cosmos.
That's good. Then I thought he just kind of hung around the house.
Yeah, I would. If I had a super suit, you damn straight I'd be doing that.
Put his big red boots up on the coffee table.
Oh yeah, and get bitched out by his mom. It's typical kid stuff. But and of course the AI has a heart-to-heart with John, and John's first question is he has two questions: where are you, and when are you coming home? And he said, I don't think you can answer him. And the AI says, you're right. I can't answer those questions. I'm sorry.
Not till I die and come back again.
Yeah, really. Or Marlon Brando plays me. And the great line, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little disappointed in you, artificially intelligent dad. So, a lot of great dialogue in here. So that, Joe, what was your question, sir?
Is Grace still around in this time frame?
Who, Dick Grayson?
No, Grace. Remember, you mentioned Mercy.
That's right, Grace. You're
Grace.
right. I forgot about her. We have not seen her yet. I forgot about Grace. That's a good question, Joe. I appreciate that. But no, the only person we've seen is Mercy, and I will say that she is a wee bit redesigned here. Still got that's her. Still got the short skirt. But she's a brunette now and wearing glasses, and we all know that works to disguise your, who you're supposed to be. So, but we do have John wearing civvies later on.
Ah, good.
Okay, and the thing is, in the book, John has no more of a secret identity than his dad does now, because on the first day after Bruce Wayne concocted a disguise for him in the regular book, John blew it. He went into action, and
I'm sorry, you said John blew it.
I know. The minute that came out of my face, it's like I'm just going to plow right past it. I'm just going to keep going, and hope no one notices, especially Eric. What was I thinking?
I was about to get ready to say thanks for the flashback to the Superman issue that I really want to forget about. The supercomputer that determined that Clark Kent was Superman, and Lex Luthor said, no, this program is flawed. He can't be Superman.
Yes. Well, they did touch on that. They made a couple, after Superman revealed his secret identity to the world, they had a couple specials, and one was from the villain's point of view and one was from the hero's point of view. And there were some beautiful pages in there from Matt Faction and Steve Lieber, who did that abominable Jimmy Olsen maxi series. But it consisted of 97 messages on Lex's phone, and each one was just 97 messages of his fellow criminals calling and laughing at him, mocking him with their laughter. So
Eisner Award winning awful Matt Fraction Jimmy Olsen series.
That's true. I noticed that. Yeah, that's well, the last issue was good. The last issue was actually good. It pulled everything together and was kind of fun. The rest of it is like, this doesn't make any damn sense whatsoever. And
it's not everybody's cuppa
when you reread it.
It's not everybody's cuppa, but I enjoyed that series. I did.
Like I said, I like the last issue, and I think that's one of the reasons I picked up Checkmate #6, because I was hoping that Frank. I know, Eric. I know. I was such a fool. Such a fool. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've learned my lesson, the cruel lesson. So never again. So anyway, and yes, we've been catching the spammers as we go, Eric. So we're putting them in timeout. So anyway, yeah, keep those spam things coming because it counts as engagement. So bring it on, Russians. Anyway, so that's my reviews. Those are my reviews for the week. So definitely go to your local comic shop and pick up a great book that you know won't have any Batman ads in it. No, all bets are off. Sorry?
Or does it?
You would ruin it like that, Eric. Anyway, and also this one does not have any Batman ads in it. But it does have the chandelier. And you see him going into action right there. See, he lights up, and he also
does he have a little pull chain next to his ear there?
Yes, he's got a little pull chain right here. And that's how he activates his powers. And he also contemplates a different identity where he puts on like this Victorian suit, men's suit, and puts a deer head on. He calls himself Alfred Lord Venison.
I saw it coming.
I know, it's great. And of course, we have a solo story of the Emperor King trying to impress a restaurant full of people. And they do have one good ad. There is a serious ad in here for the Hero Initiative. So that is a good thing. And then we have the continuation of this one character who gets these amazing powers. He has the strength of 2 men, and the wizard curses him to monitor traffic on the freeway and make sure it flows smoothly. And so, of course, he's in this death trap that, of course, was meant for someone else. And he's got to suffer because the Emperor King made sure no one could escape. So it's a one-way death trap. And, of course, the hero here is so obsessed that, he's looking over the freeway, nothing to do. And so he's flying over a mugging, completely ignoring it. So, but yeah, he has the, I'm not going to show you the ending, but it's like, I was right, it is a trap, but Emperor King probably didn't count on trapping someone with the strength of 2 men. Bam! Ow! So,
that sounds so much like Tick.
It does, and of course, to me, that's a selling point. So,
it sounds so much like the character Running Guy.
Yeah,
his power is that he runs faster than 5 really fast men.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh my God, yes, and even the letter column, bad words, is funny. It is very, very funny. And I cannot show you the last page of the trap story because it has a great payoff there. But anyway, that's what I've been reading this week and liking because I'm not buying Checkmate anymore. Anyway, so now this is the moment everyone. We have some comments here. Let's get those real fast. And let's see. Here we go. And we got Brittany there. And yes, it was a dark and stormy night. Every other page in every DC comic published. And it'll be like liquor. There will be a proof rating on comics showing the percentage of Batman in the comic. That would be cool. Like how big his ears get. It's like 60s Batman if there's not much Batman in it, but if it's like a lot, it'll be either Kelly Jones, it'll be probably like Bob Kane, early Bob Kane 40s stuff, or Kelly Jones, like monstrously high. And yes, the night was sultry, and Batman should do something about these spammers. Yeah, we're doing something right now. We're going to block them. Screw them. And yeah, I know Eric Hawkins. I know what you mean. And it looks like Batman did, Carl. And I'm surprised that BKM doesn't hang out in the soup suit. Maybe when he's not on camera. I actually wear my my StreamYard hoodie. That's what I've taken to wearing now. And I think he just admitted to it. And Sarah is fed. And don't make any jokes now. She wasn't here to hear all the nasty comments you people made about her. Anyway,
No, that's not what I was thinking about.
What were you thinking about, Joe?
I was just seeing you and Cookie reenacting Frozone and his wife.
Oh yeah.
Honey, where's my super suit? Why do you need to know?
Well, oddly enough, Cookie and I have probably a relationship very similar to Mr. and Mrs. Frozone, from what I'm told.
Joe, have you seen the Frozone meme? It's kids all skating and ice skating, and they got it's all snow, and you've got a guy with a Frozone hood, like doing a selfie, going, and not one person said thank you. It looks like a really good part of a cosplay. It looks great. But,
that is hilarious.
Yeah,
that is funny. Well, speaking of hilarious, funny, and insightful, we are now going to swing the spotlight towards the one, the only, the gold standard himself. And while he's blinded, grab his wallet. The one, the only, Mr. Clyde Hall. Clyde, what have you for us this week, sir?
Well, I wish that what came in this week could come in last week, because I really don't like. I like to spread things around. I don't like to review the same companies a lot.
Never stopped me.
Yeah, but you're already the DC shill. I shouldn't be trying to line up to be the DC shill. So
Brian thinks there's only one company.
Isn't there?
Freshest read this week. I've been looking forward to this for months. Crimson Cage. Now this is from. This is a bit off the beaten path. This is Artists, Writers, and Artisans is the company, and I was hoping that my comic book shop would get it. Sometimes they are about a week behind on the more obscure stuff, but they got this. And John Lees is the writer. He's Scottish. And so this is obviously wrestling. This is wrestling in the 80s in Louisiana. A lot of good memories brought forth from the script of those before the WWE and everything, those little venues, those little federations of wrestling and stuff. It's beautiful. Really captures the time period well. But it's the tale of Macbeth told as a wrestling tale.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yes, this is going to be reviewed soon. I'm not sure if it'll be next week or not, but I've forgotten. I have read John Lee's stuff before. He did Mountainhead for IDW, which was kind of people trying to stay off the grid because of conspiracy theories and going underground and trying not to make any kind of a digital footprint anywhere. It was a really interesting story, and a kid is wrapped up in this. His dad is all paranoid, and it was a very interesting, fresh kind of character study. This has that same freshness. We've seen Shakespeare done different ways before, but as a wrestling tale, this first issue was really good. And the artwork, I'll give you a sample here of what, everything from meeting up with some witchy women in the swamps outside of New Orleans to the ring action there. You have a champion who reminds me of actually a set of champions there that remind me of famous folks from that era. But I would encourage you to go ahead and pick it up. It's very, very good. Different. Also, this is one that Brian Rodman kind of put me on. I don't normally get Buffy comic books, but Buffy, the Last Vampire Slayer, yeah, it was a very, very interesting issue. Picture a time when Buffy's older and Slayers are outlawed because we are doing the, basically there have been some things that happened, and we've all decided that vampires are people too, and they should be able to feed and everything as long as they don't kill folks. So they and the humans have formed a workplace alliance standards, and hunting is not allowed anymore. Makes for a very interesting older Buffy story. Set up nicely. I also got Devil's Reign, and what a mic drop last page, Eric. That last panel, great stuff. Because Devil's Reign, I was thinking, hey, let's cut a deal with some sort of infernal creature to really, really, Mayor of New York is great, but I can do more. And I was not wrong necessarily in trying to do more, but a different venue for it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Really liked it. And the Moon Knight. Yeah, I thought of you. The Moon Knight scene is perfect. Perfect. So I'm not up to date on all the characters. I didn't feel lost in it.
I don't think someone that doesn't read Marvel normally could jump in real easy, because I think that's Ben Reilly right now, because I still think Peter's in a coma or something, because he breathed in some radioactive stuff. And I don't know if the other Spider-Man was Miles Morales or not. It kind of looked like he's wearing a homemade suit, and really I never could tell.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I like the book.
Yeah.
And Kingpin should be mayor of New York, right? I mean, he's crooked enough.
Oh yeah, I can see it. The Frontiersman continues to be a very satisfying read of an older superhero trying to still be relevant. The second issue of Dark Knights of Steel came out. Very good stuff. Again, we have some characters. Jefferson Pierce shows up in his seeming in this world, along with his family members. And we get more of the human side of things. It continues to be Game of Thrones. There are power plays. Joe, it has an inclusion with some Amazonian forces in it too. And they're all going, if the human kingdom and the Kryptonian kingdom can't even things out, everybody's going to war, which very Game of Thrones. It's not just going to be one or two, it's going to be everybody. So good read. And I did pick up One Star Squadron. It has some characters that I kind of felt like, they're kind of making fun of some of the characters I like. But it's Mark Russell, and I will give him another issue just to see how it gels. It does have some heartfelt moments. It is very funny. The idea that, you have superheroes that can do things that aren't necessarily going to let them be in the Justice League, but they still want to help, and they still want to serve, and they still want to, maybe make a little bit of a profit, make a living, so that they don't have to have a regular job and this. But like Power Girl being part of it, I was like, oh, Red Tornado too, kind of a major player for that sort of thing. But there's reasons in the story. So, Batman 89, good stuff. Yes, and it does address one of the things I think of every time I see a movie of Batman or live action treatment. When he's asked about it, he goes, well, the bats are cool, but I do have to work on the guano problem.
Yes.
You would in the cave. You absolutely would.
It's just a squishy sound when he walks around.
It's not that. It's the rebreathing equipment you'd have to wear. That kind of stuff. But anyway, Fantastic Four life story. I was really kind of cold on this when it first began, but it has come along and it has become satisfying. It's not my favorite read of the month, but it's not bad. This is the next to last issue, so I will be picking up the last one to see how it all turns out. There was a time when I wasn't sure about going on with it, but this week, I am going to review a DC book also. And I know. And there's only one reason. And that is Tom Taylor. he is, he was touted with material that he wrote. He's writing 3 major series right now for DC, and he is knocking it out of the park on each one. I don't know if he can continue that kind of writing quality and success, but right now he has my attention. And
He's going to turn into Colin Bunn writing that much.
well, I don't know. I've not had to go look up a blurb of his to see so that I can understand any story yet. So he's not there yet.
He has something to aspire to.
Yeah. But and I didn't really, like I said, I would prefer to have done something else. But of last week of the books that came out, this was my favorite read. And
Cool.
yeah, so we have Nightwing, the 2021 annual, #1. And he's been writing the Nightwing. That's one of his series. And it has been a phenomenal run. They're getting ready to do the trade on the first part of his run for it. This is where he got rid of the Rick Grayson and brought back Dick Grayson and the things that, make Nightwing the character that we like, the not Batman character that we like of the Bat family. So this is the annual for it. And just to show you some of the, first of all, let's look at, so that you'll know who's responsible. It's Nightwing 2021 Annual, #1, DC $5.99, written by Tom Taylor. Pencils are by Keen Tormey and Daniel HDR. Inks by Keen Tormey, Raul Fernandez, and Daniel HDR. Colors by Rain Barreto and John Kalish. Letters by Wes Abbott. Maturity level is 13 plus. So, as you can see here, we'll look at some of the artwork. Nice cover. We see both. It's an interesting set of like mirror images of Nightwing and Jason Todd as the Red Hood. I don't know a lot about the Red Hood, so I did not really get this for him or anything. I did not feel left out or lost in what was presented. We start off with a very interesting action sequence here. Lots of explosions and shooting through the hood of the car. Eric, sound effects. And when we become a bit more personal, part of the story takes place in the past and part is in current continuity. In the past, we see a Jason Todd who is a newly minted Robin, a Dick Grayson who is Nightwing and no longer welcome in the Batcave because he's part of the Teen Titans now and doesn't want to be. Batman is like, you have fallen from the purer path, so you can't come back. And I've already replaced you, so you're fired. So get that. We get a very, very nice modern day update on these characters, both Jason and Dick Grayson. And I like the way that it's very simple lines when they're younger and then a little bit more complex when they are mature. And you have some very good action sequences at the end for the climax where they're playing chicken with the Batmobile with an oncoming plane. So, it's always fun. And you do have the Justice Incarnate ad. I'll get rid of that. You can see the art. And you've also got, look at the sound effect.
Eric's going to need a cigarette.
Yeah. Scree! And followed by, Jason, you said I could drive. Okay. So, getting into the review part. These days, annuals are not my biggest comic book draws. When I followed a title closely in ye olden times, annuals were a good way to wrap a plot up or make a great oversized standalone story not possible in regular monthly issues. But now I follow a few titles so closely, and annuals might be as described, or they might be the wrap, the launch, or a footnote to some big event, which I never bothered with in the first place. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but it's become a timey-wimey, more often than not, guideline. Annuals, check them out before you get them. Then along comes an annual like this one. It's another offering from the busy keyboard of Tom Taylor. And no, I swear I'm not part of the PR team, but I do enjoy the work he's produced lately. And he feels like he is in a sweet spot combo of titles and talent. His Nightwing 2021 annual is Exhibit A in pleading the case. But consider for a moment that it is much more. In fact, it's a many-moored thing. It's a good litmus test for the Nightwing Leaping into the Light trade paperback, launching soon, collecting the issues of the initial Taylor run. I think if you like this, you'll like that. It might even be considered a great holiday read. Now, and there is not a festive thing anywhere in sight within the pages. There's no holidays mentioned or inferred, but for people tired of the usual holiday specials, yet still needing a read that brings some feels, this annual should satisfy. It's certainly superior to the seasonal DC Christmas and Valentine's and Halloween anthologies that I've seen lately. Ones where you get 8 or so stories with 2 worth the cover price, which is also about $5.99 normally. Not a great comic book value, most of the last ones that I've gotten. So fans of Bat nostalgia like Alfred Pennyworth, Nightwing's original disco suit, and heroes fighting hard together as brothers in arms despite their differences will find much to love in these pages too. After all, it is about family getting together, not entirely by choice, arranged and overseen by a patriarch wise enough to broker the meeting, caring enough to foster its intended but underlying purpose with heart. And I'm not talking about Bruce Wayne. I'm talking about their grandfather, Alfred Pennyworth. The Red Hood, former Robin Jason Todd, has lately been walking a narrower path favored by the greater Bat family. He's put aside guns and his more violent tendencies, trying to wash away some of the anti from his hero persona. But as Nightwing, former Robin Dick Grayson, watches a news feed, Jason seems spurred back into lethal vengeance and vigilante actions, settling an old score. A reckoning that results in sabotaging a criminal investigation wherein the felon was preparing to turn state's evidence, and now he's a little too dead to do that. So Nightwing, in short, seeks Jason out for an explanation. These current events frame a flashback with a younger Grayson, newly Nightwing and part of the Teen Titans nearing their 20-somethings, being called to Wayne Manor, despite a dictate from Batman that he's been fired and replaced as sidekick in Air. While Bruce is away, butlers will play at being good grandfathers. And Alfred shows Nightwing that the new Robin, Jason, is grounded for being too headstrong and too reckless. 2 Robins with clipped wings and a chance for the former to act as a mentor for once, helping his young brother with a different style than their taskmaster leader normally uses. Once more in current time, Nightwing finds Red Hood, who claims innocence, and the two set about clearing his freshly remuddied reputation. Very different brothers in both instances, but each with similar experiences when it comes to Batmaning 101, and both joined in a common cause. Taylor shows that regarding this pair, no one better understands the paths that they have navigated than each other. In Taylor's patented method, the story has bookended boy wonders put through moments of action, brotherly bonding, Batcave-level funny, and incidents displaying a lot of heart. He uses the parallel stories separated by years, masterfully illustrating how these 2 young men have changed, but how they've also both still remained the same boys underneath their more layered, complex, and mature facades. The primary villain of the piece is also a nostalgic treat, just for the way the rogue is drawn. It's a style reminiscent of Batman the Animated Series. And there's the bane of both Robin's pain, the Wayne in their self-esteem gears known as Batman, who isn't in the story. Although Taylor has made him a major character anyway, because by his very absence, the Batman's presence saturates the narrative. He's put both the boys that they were and the men that they've become on their individual paths for good and for ill. The Dark Knight occupies, one degree or another, the thoughts, actions, and perspectives Dick and Jason experience through their shared missions. These are the narrative gymnastics and the foundational storytelling which makes Taylor one of my current favorites. The pencil and inks of Keen Tormey and Daniel HDR, plus the inks of Ralph Fernandez, make for crisp, clean simplicity in the backstory, crafted in a slightly more complex and mature styling for that modern era. They lavish visual love on classic Robin wear, that disco Nightwing uniform, and the modern, truly bookended former Robins of red and blue. Rain Barreto and John Kalish keep the colors lighter, the streetlights brighter than the usual Gotham fare. And for this kind of story, that works well, just as similar palettes do in the regular Nightwing title. Wes Abbott's letters are not afraid to let the art breathe over the course of several unfolding action panels, and there are glorious special effects offered up when needed. But Taylor's dialogue here goes with the less words, deeper meaning, perfect dialogue is to the point school. Abbott accommodates that sensibility very well, and he still manages to throw in an unusual font or two along the way. In the end, we have a tale of two brothers, integral parts of a family made and not born into, both owing respect to the darker knight who raised them, sometimes failed them, but allowed each in varying degrees a chance to be more than the shadowy, vengeance-driven apparition of Justice Batman became. This story is a chance for Dick and Jason to acknowledge it, sometimes chafe against it, and yet emerge stronger and better heroes for it. Bat creatives, you have crafted a story showing what we hear often these days. While we may be unique and varied individuals, our experiences often give us much more in common than the differences keeping us apart. The annual shows this to be true, against odds, for the heroes formerly known as Robins, which makes my score for Nightwing Annual 2021 8.5 out of 10.
Very, very good.
Thank you.
Well done. Cool. Well, we've got, excuse me, some more comments. Sarah says, I couldn't believe how much works are out there by Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King. Speaking of off the beaten path. And Lizzie says, so many DC books tonight, y'all getting some of that ad money? DC doesn't get any ad money. It's all going to Marvel, apparently, because they're getting outside advertisers as opposed to DC, which, one ad out of everything that's been mentioned tonight.
Yeah.
Grant Lankard, good to see you. Hope you're doing well tonight. Everyone's saying hi to him. And Sarah, is Clyde reading the review? No disrespect intended. Just kind of sounds like a person reading a book report. Interesting. And Carl provides the answer. Clyde writes out his review most weeks. He's very prepared.
When I started doing reviews, I wrote them, and I just feel more comfortable having notes to go off of.
And I would, I know that my delivery differs, so I'm prepared to be like all over the charts like I usually am in my reviews. So, and okay, thanks, Carl. So anyway, glad we are the answer place. Disregard my confusion. We cannot. This is the learning place, Sarah. We are here to clean that up. I'm telling you.
I almost bought a DC book this week. Almost.
Oh my God.
And it was a Batman book too, but it was only before the cover I was going to buy it. I was like, nah.
Which one was that?
It was the one to the, the Spider-Man cover.
Okay. Well, I admit I almost picked up. I missed the first issue of Amazing Fantasy. I'm gonna wait and get the whole series, but I was intrigued by one of the variant covers, which was an homage featuring the versions of the characters in Amazing Fantasy, but they were the layout was based on the original Marvel superheroes role-playing game.
Yes, I saw that.
Right?
Yeah.
Clyde knows what I'm talking about, and that is the very first.
With if I remember correctly, Captain Marvel, Captain America, the Thing, and I forgot who the fourth one was.
I want to say Spider-Man. But yeah, and that was my very first attempt at role-play gaming. And a friend of mine, hi Tom Reed, how you doing? Ran me through a scenario with Wolverine, where apparently I became a combat monster. So oddly enough, but it was a lot of fun, and that was my gateway into Champions, and eventually Dungeons and Dragons, and Call of Cthulhu, etc., and especially Hackmaster. So anyway, let's see. And Comics Talk with Pops Van Zandt. Hey yo, Pops, how you doing tonight, my friend? Good to see you. Check out CromCon at the last weekend of every month. And this gonna be over the Christmas weekend, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, well there's your Christmas gift to yourself, folks. Tune in to CromCon at the end of the month. All right. So we have caught up with the comments, and I know I've got something we can talk about, and I might as well we can all give our opinion on this. And Pops is everywhere today. He's here. He's there. He's everywhere. But this week we learned something very sad. Very sad. That George Perez, the incredible artist from who's worked for just about a whole lot of companies. He's done the Avengers. He's done Superman, the Justice League of America, Logan's Run, the Sons of the Dragon, many great features. New Teen Titans and Crisis on Infinite Earths. About 5 years ago. What, Joe?
You missed the major one that put him on the map.
I said the Sons of the Dragons.
That's on a Marvel side. How about on the DC side?
Justice League of America and the New Teen Titans. I did say the New Teen Titans.
He did one other.
The Crisis on Infinite Earths. Which one?
He did Wonder Woman. He revived Wonder Woman.
Oh,
that's right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Again, you would know that, and fair enough calling me out on that. Fair enough. In fact, I would say the version of Wonder Woman we have now is a direct, descendant of that particular iteration of Wonder Woman. Well called, Joe. Thank you very much. Seriously. But yeah, he's been a very influential artist and writer because he wrote many of the stories in Wonder Woman. Co-plotted a whole bunch of them. But anyway, about 5 years ago, he dropped out of the professional ranks and of going to conventions because he's a severe diabetic. And about 3 days ago or so, he announced on his Facebook page that he has stage 3 pancreatic cancer, I believe it is. And rather than go through the treatment for it and still face the possibility that it could come back, he has decided to let the disease run its course. And I got that picture was taken in Metropolis around about 10 years ago or so. Back when I was doing cosplay a little bit. It was so funny. That was in Artist Alley in the venue, and I was walking around in my Uncle Dudley Marvel suit with a wig hand sewn by my wife Cookie. And Perez had about 3 dozen people in line, and he was sketching for all of them. He was a very fast artist. And he got one look at me, and he's been a huge supporter of cosplay over the years. And all of a sudden, he looks at me and goes, "Hey, wait a minute. I want my picture taken with you." And I told him, I said, "Shouldn't that be the other way around?" But he came up, and we got this picture taken. And as you can see in my eyes, clearly I am fanboying.
Yes.
Yeah, and I challenge anyone to blame me. I challenge you all. But anyway, I had also met him back in the 80s when he had just gone over to DC. The Chicago Comic-Con then, which was the precursor to Wizard World, had for a couple of years had like a monthly or bi-monthly mini-con. And they might have, instead of a vast array of guests, they would have 1 or 2. And a couple times George Perez came up and so generous with his time and so kind. And so I was telling somebody recently that he's one of the people that, as a semi-public figure, he had a lot of lessons for those of us, who are in the public eye on how to behave with the people that you encounter live. And, it is sad news, but it also drives home, I think, the fact that we should appreciate the icons that we appreciate now and not wait until they're gone or out of the field. We should give them the props that they deserve right now.
And people have, after his announcement, if you've seen Twitter or Facebook,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't all just cut and paste of George's original message that so many people were relating their own experiences with George. And I think that is one more sign of how George has touched the industry, not just with his work, but just with his presence at shows. And he will be missed. He really will. So let's see. Here we go. And we've got some more comments. Comics Talk to Pops Van Zandt says, yes, casual CromCon unboxing on Saturday and open mic all day Sunday. Rick Bradley, good to see you, sir. I love the classic Marvel RPG. Download a ton of PDFs on classicmarvelforever.com. I will have to look into that. And Joe with the deep facts. That's right. That's why this man is here. He is a wealth of knowledge. He really is. And that's who people were talking about. Noob Facepalm. It's okay. You're just getting started in this, Sarah. This is part of the rich history of comics. George started out doing like small features at Marvel, and then he also did Fantastic Four. He also did Fantastic Four. In fact, he does my absolute favorite issue of Fantastic Four, number 176. With the Impossible Man. The premise was the Impossible Man finds out that, you see, in the Marvel Universe, there are comic books of the Marvel characters. But they are, instead of being fiction, they are relating what actually happened to the characters, supposedly. And the Impossible Man finds out that Marvel is putting out comics, and so he decides there needs to be an Impossible Man comic. So the Fantastic Four are racing to the Marvel offices to get there ahead of the Impossible Man because he causes trouble. And there was this wonderful scene with Jack Kirby, who drew the cover, Stan Lee, Roy Thomas, and George Perez. And Stan is like, guys, we didn't get the plot this month for the FF book. What are we going to do? We got to go to press. What are we going to do? And Jack Kirby goes, guys, this may be a wild idea, but why don't you make up stories about them? And Roy is like, oh my God, that's right. I can write it. George could draw it. And Stan's like, no, nobody's going to buy that. So it has guest shots of other people from the Marvel bullpen. And like George is trying to escape, and he's caught by John Verporten, who was the traffic man, the production manager at the time, and John is trying to tell George how much he loves him, and George is like, "Let me out of here! The Impossible Man is here!" So it was a lot of fun, a great story. So anyway, Pops says, "Hi Sarah, I'm everywhere pretty much every day. It is my chosen profession." Yes, that is wonderful. And Sarah says, "BK and one of my aunts who had cancer chose the same thing. It would be quantity rather than quality of life. I understand both opinions. I do too." I mean, just shows you what a class act George Perez is. That he is taking control of this. Pops Van Zandt says, my mom took the chemo at 78, still kicking ass and taking names at 83. Good for her. That's what we love to see. And Rick Bradley says they also have a ton of character stats on the site as well. They even have a great Superman on there. He's a badass. And so are we. Grr. Anyway, thank you, Rick Bradley. So now that I brought down the room, does anyone have anything else to talk about or something to add to this?
Well, Nightwing, actually the Nightwing disco suit I mentioned in the review, that's George's, isn't it? Didn't he make that?
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, George had a real talent for design. I think about the only design of his I didn't care for that much was Troya. Remember the suit that was all sparklies? I don't want to be the artist drawing that.
I always liked the Kid Flash uniform better than the Flash's. And the first time I saw him draw the new Teen Titans, probably the first dozen issues or so, I grabbed because his Wally West was like, prove my point. See how cool this outfit looks as rendered by this guy. It was just it was beautiful.
Well, and also George Perez has probably drawn more Marvel or DC characters than any other artist alive or dead.
He had the Dick Dillon kind of ability to take and put a whole bunch of characters in a panel, which is why he was perfect for Crisis. So, and that's a rarity. I mean, you hear stories about artists going, whoa, how many characters are we having in this book? Because I top out about 4.
Yeah.
I don't want any more than that.
Yeah, you sign somebody like the Legion of Superheroes is like, what did I do to make you mad at me?
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and teen books are it takes a particular artistic skill set, and you're right, not everyone has that. Perez had it. Kirby, John Buscema, Sal Buscema, Dick Dillon, like you said. By the way, this is
Rob Liefeld.
My ears.
I'm sorry, my earbuds have been malfunctioning. I thought I heard something. But for somebody who can draw ankles, I do like George Perez. So.
He can draw the heck out of ankles. It's just below the ankles.
He is not the foot fetishist friend, that's for sure. So anyway, I can just see, guys with that, people with that kink, going, we can get some superhero boots. Oh, hell, it's Liefeld again. But anyway, now that we've defamed him and shot any chance of him being on the show,
it's a sad realization that most of the legends in the industry are getting older and starting to pass away. I mean, we've lost so many in the past few years.
Yeah, because Alan Bellman was the last I can think of Golden Age artist. He was one of Kirby's replacements on Captain America back in the 40s. And even now, 50s, John Romita Sr. is still alive, but I think he's in ill health right now. We haven't seen a lot from him in recent years. And even the 60s, we got Roy Thomas. Jim Shooter is still alive, but he was 14 when he turned pro in the mid 60s. Not many of them left. And even starting to bite into some of the people of the 70s. So, again, this is why we need to, make sure the people that we appreciate now know it. Don't be shy with your praise, people. Seriously.
Same note. Do you know who Chris Akiellos is? Okay.
Yes.
He passed away today.
Oh no!
Very suddenly. He had been. He was 74, and he was planning some convention appearances and stuff. So very suddenly, but he's he did Doctor Who covers for some of their publications.
Yes, beautiful.
And the thing that I always loved, he was heavy metal, and in the heavy metal movie, the Tarna sequence is pretty much based on his artwork.
Yes.
Yeah,
what a fine artist. Oh, that's sad. And, of course, I'll be the first to say it. Somebody always does. These things happen in threes. So, unfortunately, I hope we get no bad news this weekend. But yeah.
Well, let's all pray for Rob Liefeld now.
I do every day, Eric.
Do they have to be really like giants or just any three? Because I think he's kind of excluded if it requires giant talent status. I'm just saying.
Please bless and preserve the people that know how to draw from the knee down. And Carl Witzman says, "Wow, okay." Anyway, but Perez is a terrific human being and an incredible artist. And I posted on my page, and I'm halfway tempted to start a petition, actually, on like change.org or something, if somebody already hasn't. George Perez, one of his highlights of his career, he did a cross-company team-up between DC and Marvel, drawing virtually every character each company had, which for most artists would probably make them throw themselves under a moving train. But this was Perez's bread and butter. The fact that he took two group books like he did. And it was also a good story. Of course, the art was gorgeous. And he's one of those pencilers. He's kind of like, to me, he's like Kirby or some of the others, where it doesn't matter who you put on him to ink. that some are better than others. Like Romeo Tanghal or Joe Sinnott or Jerry Ordway, who are some of my favorites, or even George Perez or Dick Giordano. But you could put, I remember buying an early Avengers he did, and there was, I looked in the credits. First thing is like, oh, Vince Coletta just synced this. Oh dear. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I don't know if Coletta, who could ink well, if he was inspired by seeing what Perez had done and decided he was going to do, a good turn for this very, very young penciler.
I think it's Perez has such tight pencils.
Yeah.
It is basically just going over and tracing everything because he's already put everything in there.
He really has. I've seen even his layouts, just his rough layouts, and they're tighter than most finished pencils of a lot of artists I've seen in the pro leagues. So yeah. So Uncle George, we love you. And thanks for everything. So now, like I said, now that I've brought down the room.
Well,
I know. I'm the life of every party, right? But on a positive, yes, Clyde.
Well, I was going to ask Eric, save us here. What have you got cooking tonight for the competition?
Yes.
We are drawing Narnia. So anything Narnia related. So I'm going to draw Mr. Tonless.
Very cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
If I can, his legs are all jacked up. I'm like, oh, this is going to be rough.
That's a good pick. That's
You'll
a good pick.
You'll win
Better
once
than
again.
Jesus Allegory Lion.
There we go. And also, we want to cheer on our champion down here, Joe D Mcphee, who's going to be doing retail combat this weekend at the McCormick Center in Chicago. And we urge everyone who is out there or in the area, or even if you live someplace else, drive into Chicago and meet this amazing guy and definitely pick up everything at his booth, because he's got to pay for it somehow. But anyway, Joe, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
I'm just pretty much looking forward to just being around and meeting the people who love the books, to be quite honest here.
That's cool.
If you watched the Facebook Live here, I actually brought the some of the CGC certified stuff to display. And it's very rare that I put those out there. And I also have actual copies of the original AWF #1 and the Amazonian #1 from 2008 and 2009 respectively.
Oh, very cool. That is very cool. Well, and thank you for taking care of Ann Evans. Anyway, but
no problem.
Appreciate it, Eric.
I don't even know what they're posting tonight.
I don't either. I'm not really sure what this, whatever it is. I'm not even going to say it.
I wouldn't. Because you say it out loud, it might mean something.
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah, especially if I do it. But I get canceled 2 minutes later. But anyway, but no, Joe, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a profitable weekend. I hope you, most of all, have a fun weekend.
Yeah, and a healthy one.
Yes, definitely a healthy one. Yeah, because I know you were concerned about the extra safety measures that are being put in to keep this from turning tragic. So yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you definitely stay safe, my friend. We need you on this panel. All right. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we've got Carl Witzman is apparently not a fan of Narnia. Ho hum. You're entitled to your opinion, no matter how wrong it is, Carl. Anyway, Rick Bradley says if Liefeld can make it without drawing under the knee, you've got this, Pro Slayer. And Eric got them before I did. Yay! And let's see here. We got another one there, and I just took care of. Oh, and thank you for Claire Parker. And probably some gaming site. Yeah, probably. Or my Russian bots are after me again. I'm going to get another 50 subscriptions in the next 2 minutes. And the Joy Operations comic has me intrigued. Yeah, a brand new book from Brian Michael Bendis at Dark Horse Comics. So, and sell a bunch, Joe D, says Carl Witzman. And glad Midgard Comics got a copy of it mistakenly. Well, good deal. Good deal. Sarah got a brand new #1 with the brand new Brian Michael Bendis story, which probably is where he's going after a few more months. Who knows? Oh, but anyway, I think this calls it. I think we'll call it. We'll again wish Joe D Mcphee the best of weekends. Very profitable, and hope you have a great time. Say hello. You know who my friends are up there. Please say hello to them for me, and send my regrets that I won't be there because Cookie needs some TLC this weekend. So anyway, let's go around the room, and we'll start with Clyde. We'll go counterclockwise, and then we'll close out the show. And Clyde, tell everyone how they can follow you in the urbane drink that you hold in your hand.
Hello, I'm Clyde Hall, independent author, reader of comic reviews, and I do mean reader, and one of the contributing authors at Stormgate Press, where they have Pulp Reality 1, 2, and 3 currently available for all your Christmas new pulp needs. You should go to www.stormgatepress.com, check out their wares, not just Pulp Reality, but many other fine publications. Or you can find Pulp Reality and all of the things, I believe, on Stormgate at Amazon.com. Also, you can follow me on Facebook, and you can follow me at Clyde Hall or Radiating Positive Vibes with author Clyde Hall. And if you fail to do that and you fail to get a Stormgate book or a Pulp Reality B-Man story, you can still find me here most Thursdays on Comic Book Spectrum.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Clyde. Appreciate you, man. And next up is the Pro Slayer himself, Eric S. Hawkins. Tell everybody how to keep up with you.
Me?
You!
Well, hang on. I got to get my glass. Now, put Clyde back up because I want to see something real quick here.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to open this door, which leads to the dining room.
Oops,
but
hold on.
We have the china cabinet in front of it. I want to see if that.
Actually, I know what I'm going to do here. Hold on.
I want to see if that door opens up behind Clyde.
Hold on. Give me a second. Let me make this work here. How's that?
Nope. No Clyde. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I would have paid some serious money to have something fly out and hit him about then. That would have been his family. Your family let me down.
Well, it's just me and Jennifer in the house. The grandkids aren't here until tomorrow. So, I'm Eric Hawkins. I'm a comic book creator, best known. Well, this is all I'm known for. The Zombie World of Oz. Working on issue 4 right now, but crowdfunding comics is great for independent creators. And right now, there's Ryan Hack has Bric-a-Brac #3, which is a Christmas story, and the art is spectacular in this. And he's done this for the last 3 years, and every book has come out on time. This is the 3rd issue of it, and he's got it up on Indiegogo right now. I just put the link in the comments. But this kid's in his early 20s. And so passionate about this book of his. It's you don't see it in a lot of creators. I mean, it's really surprising. But the art is amazing. And this should be a cartoon movie, how good it looks and the story and everything. So if you like a Christmas story that's got, nutcrackers and a Christmas planet and little elves and Santa Claus who looks pretty buff and stuff like that, you should go check it out. Otherwise, you can find me on social media anywhere. You can find me here on Thursday nights, obviously. You can find me later on Thursday nights on the drawing show. And sometimes on Wednesday nights, you'll find me on the Pro Drawing Show on Mike S. Miller's channel, Blacklist Universe. But even though I was supposed to be on there last night and I had to cancel because I had some work stuff going on, he didn't even have the show. So I didn't even get to go over there and beat him. It was a shame.
Oh, well, I'm sure you will get another chance soon. Thank you.
I hope so, yes.
I hope so, too. He's still I hope you do until he finally makes good on his Kickstarter campaign.
Yes.
He is... Was he behind on the one?
I only care about the one.
Yeah, his colorist died.
Okay.
A few months back.
That's a terrible excuse.
Yeah. He's got 3... I think he's on his 3rd issue of... was it Lone Star? I think that's the one that's behind.
Okay.
And
it's the one with the Nexus team up.
Oh, that's the... I think that one's done. I don't know if it's shipped, though.
I haven't gotten it.
Yeah, but I think it's done. I know the artist that was working. I think he's done.
Okay.
Matthew Weldon was doing it. But
Okay.
for his Lone Star, the colorist died of COVID a few months back.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
right in the
no.
middle. But I think he had his other problem was he had real bad diabetes before that.
Okay.
So it's a shame. So I don't know who's coloring that book right now.
Okay. Well, Cookie's available if they want to get that out. So
Yeah, but the Monster Hunt 2, that's the one you're talking about.
yes, Monster Hunt. That's the
It has Bigfoot Bill, Nexus, and Lone Star in it. Yeah.
right. That's the one.
Yeah, I don't know if he's even put any updates out on that.
And I haven't seen any. I was checking out the other day. So.
I will have to go look.
There we go. Get him in order there. So anyway, thank you, Eric. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. And here he is. Always welcome here is Mr. Joe D Mcphee. Joe, tell everybody how they can keep up with you and all the cool things you're doing.
Pretty much, I'm kind of like I'm a creator more so, and also done a lot of different writing for different other people here, and also in different genres. Just got through finishing up a 6-page story for this anthology that's going to be happening soon. That's as far as I could go with that. I also have done writing for Comics Unlimited, so I'm in these 2 magazines here. I'm going to be in a third one later on in 2021. As everybody was saying, I'm going to be at C2E2 this weekend, so you can look for me there. You can catch me pretty much on Facebook and most social media platforms. I don't really do the Twitter all that much, but Instagram, DeviantArt, you can find me there. You can also find me on my channel, which is From the Desk of Small Press Publishers, Saturday. And as of right now, I'm still planning to have a show this Saturday. So it'd probably be like a kind of like a C2E2 type show, just answering general questions and stuff like that for those who really want to know what it's like to exhibit pretty much towards the front of the show, as opposed to like an artist alley or a vendor area to that magnitude. So each area in the show is a little bit different, and you have to prepare for the differences. And if you understand how you prepare for those particular areas, you could do very well.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Joe. And your booth 835, is it?
835. That is correct.
Excellent. And also his program From the Desk with Small Press Publishers, Saturday nights at 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Central, is a proud part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network.
Thank you for that commercial.
You're welcome. Somebody had to mention it. Let it be me. Thank you so much, Joe, as always. Thank you for being here. And Brian Rodman, we hope everything starts working out for you. And we look forward to your return. We've got a couple more comments. Sarah says, safe travels for those who will be hitting the road this weekend. Thank you very much, Sarah. I appreciate that. And Carl Wisman says, we appreciate all of you guys, and not in a way to intimidate that to intimate that any of you are old or anything. I just come out and say it, because I am, and I'm proud to be here. And my dad is old, Carl. It's okay. Just kidding, says Lissy. And oh, me too. Just the way Brian was talking about people getting old and such. Yikes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I hear the swish of the Grim Reaper's robes every day now. And nice to hear that everyone has things going on. Me too. Not sharing yet. Looking forward to that announcement, Sarah. And Grant Lankard's doing Steel City Con tomorrow. Grant, good luck to you, sir. Keep us posted, all right? And please take it easy, Grant. Yeah, Carl, you are so right about that. And speaking of being on the road this weekend, I will be in Toledo, Ohio on Saturday from 11 to 5 at the Franklin Park Mall for Writer's Block. It's going to be a great writer's show. A number of different artists, or not artists, but word artists of writers will be there, of which I will be one. Also, Jim Beard of Flinch Books, will be there with me, as well as the charming and delightful Cookie. It will be a lot. And Grant says I should be okay. Nothing I sell is heavy. Well, I hope you have heavy sales, Grant, if nothing else, and little to take home. And anyway, that's what we're going for too. And Cookie says I might have a sale this weekend. I know nothing about this, but she's the boss, so that's what goes on. But anyway, thank you all for being here, whether you're watching live or on the rerun. We appreciate all of you. If you're watching us on Facebook, please give this broadcast a like if you've enjoyed any part of it or plan to in the future. And if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up if you would. It helps us with the algorithm so much. And every time you do, an angel earns its wings. And also, please subscribe to the channel. We've got some cool stuff coming up. And right after this show, we're just butting up against it now. Is Stupid O'Clock, a really terrific geek show. Please look for it on YouTube and on Facebook and on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page, of which this is. Please check it out. Please like the page and check out our back videos, as well as new ones that get up on there all the time. And like I said, tomorrow we'll be talking more about it on Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central with myself. And we also want to thank our Patreon subscribers who keep the lights on here in the studio. And many of them have their own pages too. So please check them out, because Patreon, in exchange for your support, allows you to get stuff from us. It's really, really cool. So if you want to see your name here, check me out at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And as always, we are grateful to Jeffrey Hayes and Plasma Fire Graphics when the look of your book matters to you. If you want a great looking book cover, then contact Jeffrey Hayes. Check out the Plasma Fire Graphics page on Facebook, and then go to plasmafiregraphics.com on the interwebs and check out more samples of his amazing work. Find out why he is like the gold standard of front pieces for books, and also designs wraparound covers and book trailers and all kinds of great graphics. So check him out, ask for his rate card, and you'll be astonished. Indie creator prices. You'll be glad you made contact with them. That's Plasma Fire Graphics, and the look of your book matters to you because it matters to your readers. And like I said, tomorrow morning we'll be back on Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 a.m. And thank you to everyone who has supported BK Minutes. We have put that show on temporary hiatus. We'll talk about that probably a little bit more tomorrow. But as always, we thank you all for joining us here on Comic Book Spectrum. We appreciate all of your comments, and thank you for your support. And we hope that you have a great night. Oh, and also don't forget Last Man Standing at 11 p.m. Eastern tonight with Dan Hollifield. More great geek conversation. You're going to be glad you're there. So as always, come see us in Toledo, Ohio, or go see Joe in Chicago. Do one day, do the other. Like see me on Saturday, see Joe on Sunday or Friday. It'll work out. We'll write you a note if you need off work. And so everyone, thank you for being here. And as always, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you next Thursday on Comic Book Spectrum.
Thank you for watching Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Please join us next week for another look at comics, past, present, and future. If you enjoyed this, please give the show a like and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. To receive our free monthly newsletter, go to www.risingtide.pub and be sure to give the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook a like in order to receive news about upcoming shows, including Clever Title Pending, Stupid O'Clock, Clever as Hail, Comics Chaos and Sass, Tidbits and Scribbles, the Historical Fencing Guild, and Nevermind the Furthermore. See you next week.